Not gonna lie, I absolutely love what the universe is serving us up right now, astrologically speaking. So we've got Jupiter in Leo, we have a new moon in Cancer, and we also have this really rare, like super rare cosmic configuration. Okay. And essentially, what it all boils down to is that it's time to make a decision. Now, you may not be at a point where you have an important decision to make. This could just be the time to decide to do something, to decide to start something, or at the very least, to decide to get out of your comfort zone. This is a really fertile time right now. I'm not talking about that kind of fertile, but maybe for some of you, depending on how your natal chart is set up. But either way, it feels very decisive right now. And I absolutely love that for us. So if you want to know what the hell I'm talking about, what the hell is going on right now, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, like I said in the intro, I feel like we're in a really interesting time right now, and for several reasons. Number one, Jupiter has just gone into Leo. And for some reason, and I still can't even figure out why, so many people are talking about this transit, which is surprising to me because Jupiter was actually really well placed in Cancer. So I expected people to talk about Jupiter in Cancer so much more than they're talking about Jupiter in Leo. And I think I have an interesting theory as for why. But we've got that. We've got the Cancer new moon, which is always a really super fertile time to plant some seeds. And then we have this really rare, super rare cosmic configuration that we've never experienced in our lifetime. We don't know what it is, but it promises to be pretty positive, and I love that for us. So this video is all about the energy of the moment, but more importantly, what you can and likely should be doing with it, right? And to boil it down to its essence, the one thing I'll say is that whenever there's any sort of astrological transit, there are many different interpretations for it. It's not like there's just one central theme and that's the only theme that is happening. Of course, everything always depends on your particular natal chart. But the theme that speaks the loudest to me when it comes to this is making a decision, deciding that you're going to put your energy, that you're going to put your free will, that you're going to put your willpower toward something, I think is one of the best things that you can do at this time. So before we even get into the specifics, I want you to take a second, pause this video, do whatever you need to do, meditate, journal, whatever. Think about something that you need to decide because maybe you're at a crossroads in life and you need to make a decision. But even if not, just think about something that you want to take a stance on, something that you want to put your energy behind at this time. I think, again, that'll be sort of the best use of this energy at this time. All right. So now let's get into the specifics. All right. So there's something that I noticed right off the bat that was, like, loud as hell when it comes to the astrology of the moment, okay? And it's the number 4. Now, typically, if you're not new around here and you've been following me for a while, I used to do very dedicated new moon and full moon videos, and I would always do the numerology breakdown. So I'm very attuned to the numerology, particularly as it pertains to the moon cycle, and this goes beyond the moon cycle when it comes to this new moon in Cancer, when it comes to Jupiter in Leo, and when it comes to this rare cosmic configuration, the number 4 keeps repeating itself. Now, this new moon in Cancer is happening at 22 degrees, but that reduces to 4. But the whole point of this is that at this time right now, there's this undercurrent of stability. Okay. When you think about the number 4, immediately what I think of is, 4 walls that make a house, that contain a house, right? In law, we always talk about contracts as the 4 corners of a contract, meaning that it encapsulates the complete agreement between the parties. And four just has a lot to do with building, with stability, right? Perhaps building things that last, things that stand the test of times, structures. They could even be tangible structures. It's often what I think of when I think of the number four. And with the number four sort of running throughout all of these things at this time, there is this undercurrent of stability. But maybe the decision that you are being urged to make or that you have the opportunity to make at this time has a lot to do with stability. Perhaps an inception point of something that's meaningful to you, something that you would devote time, emotion, and energy to, and something that is a mainstay in your life. Okay. So maybe this is something that you've already been thinking about. I feel like the energy of the moment is sort of going to light a fire under your feet to kind of get you moving in that direction. Or whether it's not taking action on the thing, it could be just deciding to commit to something. Like actually like put a line in the sand and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. At the same time, it could also be, well, this is what I'm not doing. This is what I don't want to add my energy to, or what I don't want to devote time to, right? Either way, either of those are decisions. But I think that this is a wonderful use of the energy because you have the ability to have something tangible. Now, of course, we're talking about Leo energy. We're talking about some other energies as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. But there is this energy of action. There's this energy of passion, which is great. But the stability aspect of it may feel like, okay, I'm fired up about this thing right now, but I need to sort of tend to that fire so that I can continue this thing, so I can continue building it, so I can continue putting my energy, my time, my emotions behind it. So think about that. Think about something that you're willing to devote time and energy to. Think about something that you may really want. Think about something that may bring stability in your life or something stable that you want to have in your life. I think that, again, that's a best use of the energy. Okay. So, first up, we have the new moon in Cancer, which is happening on July 19th. Nope, it's happening on July 14th. The way that that just rolled off my tongue, I don't know. July 19th is also a very important date, which again I'll get to later. But first up is the new moon in Cancer. So any new moon is an inception point, right? It's a seeding point. And when we talk about a new moon in Cancer, we're talking about fertile soil. We're talking about plants, plants. We're talking about seeds that we want to plant, that we want to water, that we want to devote our emotions to over time. So that could be the decision that you're making. And you're going to want to look at your natal chart so that you know where Cancer is, and that could let you know, okay, this is the seed I want to plant. Maybe you're a Cancer rising and you want to plant, seeds of, a body change or something like that. Or maybe you've got Cancer as your fourth house. And so you want to plant seeds of family and lineage and things like that. Again, look at your natal chart and see where that is.
Hey friend, real quick. So I know you've probably been watching some of my videos and you're like, okay, this is great, or this is really interesting, but how does it apply to me? Well, the first place that you would start is with your rising sign. Your rising sign is arguably one of the most important placements in your natal chart. So whether you know your rising sign or not, I created this free guide called Your Rising Sign Strategy. It not only helps explain your rising sign and your chart ruler, but most importantly, it helps you understand how your rising sign shapes your decision making, as well as what that all means when it comes to career, money, and relationships. So if you want to grab the free guide, you can either scan the QR code on screen, especially if you're watching on TV, or if you're watching on mobile or anywhere else, the link is in the description box below. Like I said, it's completely free. And if you're new to my work, this would be the best place to start. So enjoy, and hopefully it's informative. Now, back to the video.
But keep in mind, the thing I love about astrology is that it gives us a timeline and it gives us a topic for everything. And so you can manifest anything you want whenever you want. I will never override that because that is the universal law, right? But what I love about astrology is like, okay, you can manifest anything you, but this is the best time to manifest this thing, or this is the best time to manifest that thing. So again, look at Cancer in your natal chart, what house it's in, and it'll tell you exactly what seeds would be best to plant right now. I always, it's sort of like farmers, right? There are different seasons for different seeds, different plants, and all the things. You're not planting, certain things in the middle of winter, right? And, in contrast, there are certain things you don't plant in summer, okay? So there's seasons to this shit. So again, look at Cancer and see where that is in your natal chart. So you'll know exactly perhaps what you want to plant at this time. Now, while planting the seed is great, every foundation needs something to support it. And that's where I think Jupiter in Leo comes in. Now, if you're into astrology, you're probably like, what does Jupiter in Leo have to do with the new moon in Cancer, right? Cancer and Leo are right next to each other, but they don't necessarily have a sort of symbiotic relationship. But I think with the energy of the moment, I think that this energy builds on itself, right? So, like I said, Cancer is the seeding moment, and then Jupiter is the expansion. Now, Jupiter stays in a sign for approximately 12 months. So every year, Jupiter moves into a new sign. Now, Jupiter was just in Cancer. So it was in Cancer from summer of 2025 until like 2 weeks ago, maybe even less than that. And what I love about this new moon in Cancer is that it has the wisdom of Jupiter in Cancer because Jupiter has just left Cancer. So, what exactly does that all mean? So the seeds that we're planting at this Cancer new moon, now it's time for it to expand. And I think this is where Jupiter in Leo sort of helps with that. It's expanding roots. It's moving and it's growing, right? Because that's exactly what seeds do. You plant it and it doesn't just go from like the seed to the plant in 2 seconds, right? It has to grow, it has to sprout, it has to expand. And that's exactly what Jupiter in Leo wants to do. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that I love. It's like Jupiter in Leo is about authenticity. It's about visibility. It's about tapping into what you are truly passionate about. The one thing that I love about Leo is that even though it is a fire sign, I feel like it has an emotional element to it because Leo sort of governs matters of the heart, what's in your heart. And that definitely evokes emotion, right? This is about growth. It's almost like a personal development moment, I think, because no matter where Leo is in your chart, this is the area where you are being called to expand authentically. And that can have a direct effect on whatever you are trying to grow and eventually stabilize. That's why I think they sort of go hand in hand because it's like, okay, I'm planting this seed. This seed is going to grow. And how am I growing alongside it? How am I stepping into my authenticity alongside it? I think when they work in tandem like this, that's what helps ensure this stability, if that makes any sense. So let me give you a perfect example. Okay. Now, this is general, this isn't based on any particular natal chart, but I will say this. Let's say you are planting a seed of a business, right? Now, a business can definitely provide stability in the long run. Of course, if you water it, if you nurture it, if you are dedicated to it. Now, as someone who has been a business owner since 2010, and as someone who has worked with developing business owners since then, the one thing I will say is this. Um, as much as you may try, you are the face of your business, especially if you are the only one working in it. And that doesn't mean that you have to necessarily do YouTube videos or you have to be very visible. But at some point in time, you're going to have to network, right? And who do they see when they network? Your face. They see this, they see you. Now, Jupiter in Leo wants you to expand not just your visibility, but your authenticity. So what this may look like if you are planting seeds of a business, maybe this is you deciding, okay, I'm going to network more. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and maybe I will start, teaching on YouTube. Or maybe I'll even be more active on LinkedIn, right? I'll be, invisible doesn't mean necessarily your face. It could be your writing, right? It could be your voice, especially if you're doing, an audio only podcast, right? So you're planting the seed of stability. And what waters that stability is that visibility and that authenticity that Jupiter in Leo is asking of us, or is actually kind of forcing us to do, okay? Now, that's just a general example, but I want you to understand how this works. Anything that you do authentically is so much better than just doing something just for the sake of doing it, right? So even if you are being authentic in one area of your life, that can definitely spill over to others. So it doesn't have to be a direct correlation between the seed that you're planting and you being authentic. It's like these two things will eventually merge together. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of this how this energy is working right now, right? Cancer new moon is planting the seed. Jupiter is asking us to expand authentically, could be expanding our hearts, could be expanding our writing, could be expanding our vision, even, right? Depending on wherever Jupiter in Leo is in your chart, right? But at the same time, there is this rare configuration that's happening that is kind of mind blowing but also fits into this so well. So this configuration is called Barbo's basket. And it's literally four planets that are forming this basket-shaped configuration in the sky. And this is happening around July 19th. Now, if you're into astrology, you may have heard other astrologers talk about it. It's this really interesting phenomenon because the four planets involved in this configuration are outer planets. And if you know anything about astrology, outer planets move the slowest. So for this configuration to happen, it's rare. We've never seen it in our lifetime. And this configuration was actually, it's called Barbo's basket because it was predicted by a mundane astrologer whose name is André Barbeau. Okay. And he predicted this thing decades ago. So this is his prediction coming to fruition. Now, the one thing that I'll say is that because it's outer planets, this is really going to affect us collectively, but depending on where it is in your chart, it could also affect you personally. Some people will feel it more than others. But what this configuration is being touted as, it's like a hard reset and a hard relaunch for society. Some astrologers are calling it sort of this golden age that we're about to enter into. And I know that sounds super counterintuitive because with everything going on, it feels like we're moving in the opposite direction of golden age. But like I say about most things, I think that sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. And so we're entering into this new age that could look different, that could feel different, and that could really be different for us in a very positive way. And I think that that's the same thing that could carry into our individual lives as well. Now, I love the idea of a basket. So when you think of a basket, baskets hold things, right? It is a container. All four of these planets are going to be at the fourth degree. That is the four walls of a house, the four corners of a contract. It's literally the container. Okay. So the four planets that are involved in this are Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter. Now, this configuration is going to last for a couple of days around July 19th because Jupiter is the faster moving planet. But on July 19th, they're going to all be exact at 4 degrees. And I'm going to insert a picture of what that looks like in terms of the astrology chart. And you can see it looks like a little basket. So cute, right? Think of it this way. You have this basket. What are you going to put in it? This is your ability to curate an experience for yourself. And this goes back to the decision making that I was talking about before. It's deciding this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to put in my basket. Okay. Now, it goes a lot deeper than that. And I'm not going to get into that because it's more of, let me put it this way, because this is a collective thing, this configuration with the outer planets, it affects us society wise. It's almost like the things that are happening in society, and you have the decision to make on what you're going to do with it. Again, you can curate whatever goes in your basket. And if you are interested, if this is piquing your interest and you want to know more about this, comment below and maybe I will make a video on what each sign can expect to experience with this thing. But if there isn't much of an interest, then I'm not going to make the video. So comment below if you want to see a video on what this means, if you're like a Gemini rising or a Sag rising or whatever, and I will make the video for you, I promise. But either way, you get to curate what goes in your basket. And this all goes back to this idea of decisions. What decision do you want to make? What do you want to put in your basket? What do you want to nurture over time? What do you want to lend your energy to that has to do with stability? What's a fixture that you want in your life right now? Looking at your natal chart will help you understand that. And if you want to understand how this particular configuration affects you personally, if you just are at a crossroads and you want to know what decision should I make, you just want to know what's going on in your life right now, then you should definitely sign up for the service that I have called Your Summer Theme. So this is a pre-recorded video that I create just for you based on your natal chart and based on the transits that are happening right now, including this Barbo's basket, so that you can understand, okay, this is how this is affecting me personally. Now I know what decision to make. So if you're interested in that, the link to that will be in the description box below, as well as tagged to this video. So to put this all together, when it comes to the energy of the moment, great time to make decisions. Plant the seed with the Cancer new moon. Allow that seed to grow and expand with Jupiter in Leo, while you're also becoming more visible, while you're also becoming more authentic, while you're letting whatever is in your heart expand and live and see the light of day, right? And then also, what do you want to put in your basket? What do you want to curate? What mainstays do you want to have in your life? I think that this is the perfect time for us to not only think about these questions, but also act upon them as well. I think that is the best use of the energy for the moment. And that makes this summer pretty dope, doesn't it? Like, I think, like, when we think about Leo energy, and we're not in Leo season yet, but Leo season is happening next week at the time that I'm recording this video. We think about willpower, right? We think about whenever I think of Leo energy, I think of the solar plexus chakra. I think of willpower. I think of what's in our hearts, being lighthearted, your quintessential summer energy. And I feel like this is the perfect sort of atmosphere to make a decision on something that you want in your life, point blank, period. And so I hope that you take this time to do just that. All right. That's pretty much all I got for you for this video. I hope that it was helpful, informative, maybe piqued your interest a little bit. Like I said, if you want to know more about Barbo's basket, comment in the comments below and I will make a dedicated video on that by signs so that you know exactly what to anticipate. Okay. If you like this content, if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this information. If you love this kind of content and you want to see more, if you want exclusive videos, if you want early access to videos, then definitely consider becoming a channel member. My channel membership is called the Inner Orbit, and you get some nice perks. And it's a great way to support this work so I can keep doing it. All right. And if you are interested in joining, you can either hit the join button or the link will be in the description box below. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the best for this time. And I hope that you truly decide to make a decision on something that you truly want as a mainstay in your life. All right, my loves, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.